Report of the Education and Science Committee on the 2011-12 financial review of Learning Media Limited be noted. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. I understand that the next entity members wish to debate is the New Zealand Qualifications Authority. The question is that the report of the Education and Science Committee on the 2011-12 financial review of New Zealand Qualifications Authority be noted. I call Tracy Martin.
Kia ora, Mr. Chair. Just with regard to the report for the 2011-2012 year, I'd like to address my comments to outcome 3, which is the preserving and building on New Zealand's reputation as a high-quality education provider and increasing the portability of qualifications gained here, which will make New Zealand a more attractive place for students to come and study. I also want, and the key indicator number 6, enhancing the international recognition, understanding and portability of New Zealand's qualifications. Now, so those are that's key outcome number 3 that the NZQA was charged with in the year of review. And we recognise that New Zealand NZQA is in a somewhat unenviable position of having to try and uphold the integrity of the New Zealand Qualifications international reputation, while at the same time having their government market and kick open a door to everybody on the planet, come here, this is the golden goose that lays the egg, free for all, our education system is up for sale. So NZQA has been flooded with international students, and it is their job to maintain the integrity and the international representation of our qualifications. And one of the things that we have seen in the last few days is the side effect of lack of resources for NZQA, a lack of time and resources for NZQA with which to create and enforce those systems needed to protect our international representation so that the goose itself doesn't end up cooked. Now, the government was aware of this issue, the current issue around cheating, over 2 years ago in the period that we're talking about, because it was in 2011 that NZQA was given the powers to prosecute anyone advertising or providing cheating services. Now, at this stage, the NZQA has not used those powers, and we're not surprised that there have been no prosecutions of individuals or organisations that have advertised cheating services, because while these organisations might be crooked, they're not stupid. But the review has highlighted that while the NZQA has these powers, they do not necessarily have the resources to properly investigate such cases or pursue such cases through the courts. New Zealand First believes that a recent article in the Sunday Star Times probably sums up the risk that we're looking at through the failure to have resources appropriately allocated to NZQA to address the risks that these fraudsters represent to the New Zealand education system. And I quote, "The students who handed in work that was not their own have fleeced not only our universities but other students who have worked diligently and honestly to get their degrees. Particularly, that has lowered the status of all degrees awarded to the international students. But the real damage is to the New Zealand tertiary education sector. This story should send shockwaves around our universities and raise red flags over the government's drive to bring in more Chinese and other Asian students here to study. If nothing is done to rectify the blight of this cheating, all we'll get is more students with phony degrees and a greater degree of distrust around our education system. Sadly, as our sources say, this is the the Sunday Star Times, as their sources say, New Zealand is now widely known in the Chinese community as the easiest place to get a bachelor's or master's degree in any Western nation." Now, while we take on board those comments, we also want to acknowledge that the Chinese Embassy is working very closely with NZQA and Education New Zealand to investigate this matter, because they recognise, just as we do, that all students are, and their degrees are at risk of having their education not valued at the level that it should. And particularly, it risks the reputation of the honest and hard-working Chinese students that are in our tertiary institutions. So we would be looking to see in the next reviews that we will do at the Education and Science Select Committee around NZQA, we will be putting a particularly close eye on the mechanisms and the affordabilities and the investment that they are making to work out solutions to this problem, and it's probably timely to do so.
Members, it's time for me to report progress.
The House has resumed, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, the committee has considered the performance of the 2011-12 and current operations of Crown entities, public organisations and state enterprises and reports progress. The committee has also considered the Immigration Amendment Bill and reports no progress. Mr. Speaker, I move that the report be adopted.
The question is that the report be adopted. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. The debate on the performance of current operations of Crown entities is set down for further consideration next sitting day, and the Immigration Amendment Bill is set down for consideration next sitting day, and the House will now stand adjourned until 2 p.m. tomorrow. Good evening, everybody.